Just a quick demonstration of the things that you should be expected to know in Access with respect to this exam you're about writing. So just practice with the few things I'm about giving you here. Yes, first and foremost, start Access. All right. So fire Access. So we have this when you start up Access, blank database. If you want to create a fresh one, this is where you go. If you have existing database, you can open it from this panel. The recent ones will be lined up here, all right? So, but I want to assume that you don't have anyone yet. Create it from the scratch. Click on blank database. Then give your database a name. Give it a name. Let me just call this demo. Demo database. The extension for Access database is ACCDB. That is Access database. Click on create. Now we should have this. Okay. There are various ways you can create tables in a database. You can decide to import from Excel or from another source. You can create your own table from the scratch. Go into create. And Access by default creates a table for you and names it table 1, which you are expected to change to a name that suits what you are creating. So create your database based on what it does, and create the tables based on what it stores. Tables are used to store data. All right. Let's make use of this table 1 as it is. We can right click on this table 1 and click save and give it a name. So let's give it the name My Scores. This first column created by Access automatically is the primary key at the moment. And we need to add other fields. There are several ways we can add other fields to this. There are several ways. We can switch to design view to go and do this. So let's switch to design view from here. So this is the design view of our table. This was added by Access automatically and is named data type. It's named ID with data type auto number. You can decide to change it if you so desire from here. This is where you assign the data type. We wish to add other fields. For instance, let's assume that these are my subjects. Okay. So the subject name will go in here. Subject name is assumed to be text. Let's take it as text. What are the scores I'm capturing? Let me capture continuous assessment 1, for instance, CA1 and CA2. So CA1 is labeled data type text, but we have to change this to number. This one also has to be a number. Now, if we want decimal points to be available in these numbers, we can change it from here. Currently, it is integer. So we can change to another type of number. So from the properties field or field properties, we change these details. So I've changed to decimal, which means it will allow me to enter decimal numbers. All right, just for the sake of this short demo, let's just make use of these few items. You save this before you continue. Change to datasheet view. The table is created. Now we can enter data from here, but tables are not used for entering data. They're just for storing data. So we can create a form to also enter our data. But let's just look at how we can enter data, a few data from this table view. So let's consider some subjects. CA1, let's assume that I score 18. For CA2, 17. Once I press enter, it is good to go to the next item. Now, if I push the tab key also, it is also ready to go to the next item. So this will be ID2. Because this is set as auto number, you don't need to enter anything here. It will not even allow you to enter any value here. Just simply click on that subject and enter the next subject. Let's say it is mathematics. Okay, mathematics. So same, it is 18 and 20. Okay. So let's just stop at this. We'll enter the remaining from the form view. Now let's see how we can create a form which we will use in entering data into this table. All the objects you are going to create are lined up in this left-hand pane, and you can gain access to creating such objects from the Create tab here. So what are the items you can create? You can create a table, you can create queries, you can create forms, you can create reports. These items are possible here. You can create macros, modules, and so on. Now we intend creating a form with which we can enter data. To make it very easy, use the form wizard. Now in this dialog box, you select the fields you want to use in your form. And then you also select tables from here. If there are several tables, select the table from here. Now the items I intend using in this particular form, I can select them from here. I want to use ID, subject, CA1 and CA2. So there are two buttons here. If I need to select the items one after the other, I make use of this button. But if I need to select everything at a go, I click this button, and that selects all at once. Now let's click on next to see what else to do here. You can select the layout of your form from here. Let's just select the first column. Then you give it a name here. Let's just leave it as it is. Then I want to open the form to be able to design it further, to make modifications to the form. So I will click on modify form design. Although if you open it from here, you will see the form outrightly, and you can as well switch to design view. But let's just open from here and modify the form. So from this environment, I'll be able to now modify the form before I finally view it. Now here, there are several things we can do. We want the form to have a name. Double click on this name here and give it a name. Okay, let's call it data form. You can resize this, you can drag it around. Let's get a handle and drag it to the right. You can even give it a color as you so desire, whatever you want, format. You can make it bold. You can give it a background color, and so on. All the objects here too, you can do the same thing to them, right? All right, let's just leave this form as it is currently. It's possible to drag these items around to rearrange them if you so desire, but for now, let's leave it as it is. Now let's take a look at the form. Okay, we are currently in Format tab. Go back to Home, click on View, and then click on Form View. Within the Form View, we can see how our form will look to the user or the person entering data. So at this point, we can see a few things here. The data we entered earlier for ID 1, subjects, CA1 and CA2. Now at the bottom here we have the navigation bar, which can be used to move items or move from one record to another. This is a record. So to move to the next record, this button is used. To move to the last record, this button is used. And to create a new record, click on this button. Click on this button. If you've already created a large database, you can search for items right from this field. If you wish to move backwards, you can move back. Let's move to the next record. For instance, this is the second record. If I need to move back, I can use this button, or the very first record, use this button. All right, now if I need to enter new details or new records, I can simply use this, or move to the last one. And let's move to the last one and enter a fresh record, for instance. Remember, the ID field is auto number, so we can't move, well, we can't enter anything here, but we can enter subject CA1 and CA2. So let's enter another subject. Let's assume biology is one of the subjects that I do. So I can enter the score right from this place as well. Okay, you can push the tab key to jump to the next one, or you simply click in that field. That done, press enter. All right, so that item is registered. You don't need to do save within the form, because the form automatically populates the items you have in the table. If we go back to the table currently, let's go back to that table. We are seeing 2 records, but if you close this table and reopen it, that last record is registered. Or you use the F5 function key, which is refresh, and that should give us the item. So the item we entered last time is now registered right here. So usually just use the form for entry of data, don't use the table. That is the practice. All right, so let's save this and see what else we can do. If we want to modify the form or want to enter term details, right here you can do that. Now, how do I modify this form? If I need to modify this form further, I will simply go back to the form, click here and select design view. We are back here, so from here you can still do some modifications, some coloring, some formatting, and so on and so forth. Now, what else can we do with this? So we can create what we call a query, and we can create a report. So let's see how we can create a query. Let's close all these items, though not necessary. The items are still active here, but they're not currently active in the work area. Now, to create a query, queries will allow you to extract data from the database and do some form of manipulation. So let's click on Query Wizard and click on Simple Query. Now, the only table available is my score. If you have other tables and you need to get some fields from them, you can change at will, and you can use more than one table or select more than you can select several items from different tables to be used in your query. Now, in my query, just like before, I can decide to select some items. So I need the subject, I need the CA1, I need CA2. Click next. Now I move on to details. Next, I want to modify this query. I can as well open it and modify later, but let's modify right from here. Click finish. Now because we selected only a single table, that table is active here. Now at this part of our query, we can do a whole lot of things. So the properties, the items, definitions can be done here. We can even do some minimal calculations in this environment. Now I want to generate the field called sum or total. Now that field is not available in our current table, which is this table. We have CA1, CA2, no total fields. So let's close this, and we need to get that field in automatically at runtime. So how do we get that done? We're going to add this, and then create a fields that will get that done. So let's give it the name of the field. The name of the field is this, put colon. And then the items, CA1. You have to use the square brackets because we are adding plus CA2. Make sure the names are properly spelled out according to how they appear in here. Any error in spelling will not give you what you want. So how do we see this query now? Let's see this query. So we are currently in the home tab. We need to run this query. So go to design, query design, tab. This run button is used for doing that. Click on run. So this is total field now generated automatically. So now, how do we create a report? We want to get a report done from this. Right, so we want to get a report done. I believe this is saved already. Let's close it. Okay, let's save it. Let's get a report done. The report will allow you to format your data in a very beautiful way and how you want it to appear. So let's get a report done. It's simple. So you go to the reports group here and run the report wizard. The items you want in the report, I want everything. Click on next. Now let me just quickly show you one thing here. Here you have my scores, which means we are making use of this table. What if I want to make use of other items? Let's get everything back. I actually want to make use of the items in the query. So I will have to select this. So then all the items, including total, will be there. And click next. So click next. Now, how do you want these items? You want them in ascending or descending order. You can define what you want. If I want the scores that I have in the total to be arranged in a particular order, ascending from the smallest to the largest, I can just do that. Click on next. I want my report to be portrait or landscape. Click on next. If I want to modify the report, I can do it from here. I can do it later. Let's just open the report for preview. So my report is here, beautiful. Now you can see how this report is. If I open it in design view, I will be able to modify the report before viewing, but it's not a problem. We can still do whatever we want to do to this report. We can switch to another view and do what we want to do. So we can print this and so on and so forth. All right, let's switch to design view. If you right click here, you can switch to design view or layout view. So let's switch to design view first. You can see why we are having the report the way it looks. The distance between this and this will need to be adjusted. Let's go to layout view to modify the layout. Okay. Okay, let's see how we can modify the size here. There's a lot of gap here. If I click on the first one, I can select the other items by pushing the control so that I can get this modified. Let me take this back to where it belongs. Now, there's something we can do here. If I click here and push Ctrl A, it selects all the items. Now, if I go to Format, let's activate the outlines, the outline colors. Okay, the lines, I want those lines in between. I want a particular color. So this will help me see everything at a glance. So if I select this and do Control click, all the other items too will be active. So you can adjust them together. The items I have here, I need to adjust them now. I'm pushing the Control key now. You can get this closer. Okay, so these two, push Control, click, get this closer. I've released the Control key now. So this way, just to make sure that your work looks more appealing. This one here. Okay, just you can work further on this. It's your design. It's your design. Okay, this item at the top here is the name. So let's just call it my scores report. Okay, so if you double click, you'll be able to edit this. And there are several items you can edit right here. You can add a footer and several others. Okay, so that is that about creating reports, and I believe this helps. So if this helps, this is the layout view. Right click and now view the report. So these are reports which can be printed. So let's see a printed version of this. I'm going to print. Let's print to PDF. Yes. PDF will let you see the items the way to appear on paper. Give it a name, whatever name. All right. So the item is right here. Okay, so I wish you best, guys. Practice, and I expect very good grades as you deliver. Bye.